We need her leadership, her advocacy, her grit to get stuff done for the people of Houston.
All right, Hillary Clinton stumping for Sheila Jackson Lee during a week when Sheila had another campaign blunder. She falsely claimed or says that she spoke to former Mayor Lee Brown, who's in the hospital, and he agreed to split his endorsement which he had given to John Whitmire back in February. You know, the Whitmire campaign talked to the Browns. The Browns put out a definitive statement saying, we didn't give her permission to use our name. We're supporting Whitmire. And so this is on the heels of Sheila Jackson Lee kind of getting a lot of trouble because there was a recording out there that showed her kind of browbeating her staff.
And not suitable for work.
And I believe some of the candidates in this race have commented. Let's roll some tape.
This issue is not just personal, it is how you treat people. I mean, if you cannot manage, 12 people in your congressional office or in your Senate office, how will you manage 21,000 city employees? That's the question people need to ask.
All right, panel, we are 9 days from the election. Do you expect these developments will diminish Jackson Lee's numbers? Doug Miller, you covered Lee Brown, and I did a little bit. It's hard to get him to give us a soundbite. The Jackson Lee campaign put out a 3-paragraph statement purportedly from Lee Brown.
That is the longest quote I have ever seen from Lee Brown in my life, and I've covered him for 20-odd years. And I think there were semicolons in it. I don't know. It's like, yeah, you can kind of tell when someone has written something out and spoken it. I remember many years ago, Ken Hoffman wrote a column saying, I talked to Ed Emmett at a car wash, and look at this long, paragraph-long quote I got from him. Yeah, you can tell when things are made up. And, yeah, that was kind of comical, actually.
Okay, Sarah, you've been watching this go down.
Yeah, I don't think this is, it's going to impact in the general election, or her numbers are going to diminish. However, in the runoff, it would definitely, folks are not going to forget her sailor language. Also, this is the definition of bullying in the workplace. What else, how else can you define this? But, what's interesting, her apology was like going to Shipley Donuts and buying a big kolache, a lot of bread and a little bit of meat.
All right. Hey, Bob, we put out a survey to our viewers asking them if they believe big name endorsements have an impact on their votes or other folks. 88% said no. You've kind of been watching this from your, let's say, home outside of the greater Houston area. What's your take here?
Well, the view from East Texas is that what a mess you have going on down here. All of this going on with Sheila Jackson Lee, though, is desperation at this point. She's struggling. She knows that she's on the cusp of not even making the runoff in this, and there not even being a runoff. So she's bringing in Hillary Clinton to try to bolster this up. Well, as you saw, 80% of the people say that's not going to make any difference. All the law enforcement groups are coming out against her, so she goes up and makes up an endorsement from a former chief of police, former mayor, to at least have one cop on her side, and turns out that's not even true. And so she's in desperate trouble at this point.
All right, Bill, you called a likely runoff between Jackson Lee and State Senator John Whitmire. That's still the case, or could this change that?
I think it'll still be a runoff, but I think that this probably moved John up another 5 points or something where he would have been. I think this, and look, I wouldn't encourage anybody to go listen to this tape because it is really foul, and this comes from somebody that doesn't mind using profanity on a regular basis, as my wife and children will tell you. But this is really awful, and it is also savagely berating 2 young staff people that work for her. Any place in any American corporation, you would be immediately fired for this kind of conduct. And so this is a person we're going to have 20,000 employees report to. That doesn't make any sense to me, why you would turn that kind of responsibility over to her. So I think the tape actually had a much bigger impact than the screwed up Lee Brown made-up endorsement. Doug's absolutely right. I've known him for 30-plus years. I've never heard him say that long a sentence at one time. And by the way, he was very ill in the hospital when they pulled this on him as well.
All right, Charles Blaine. you know, we go back to when Chris Hollins dropped out of this race because she was perceived as a better opponent for John Whitmire. I think folks somewhere are having second thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I would think so. And I, you know, like Bill, I agree. I don't think that the endorsement mix-up, whatever happened with his endorsement, as big of a deal as the recording. But unlike Bill, I think people should go listen to it and make a determination, you know, after you hear it, because I think it's something that, you know, if this person's running to be mayor, you should hear kind of the full thing. And it's out there for people to go listen. And, you know, if they take offense to it, they take offense to it. But I think they should go listen. I will say that I think, you know, endorsements would have made a bigger difference if the two leading candidates weren't so well known. I think bigger endorsements might have made an impact, and I think if it wasn't Hillary Clinton, say it was Michelle Obama or Barack Obama, I think that probably would have had a little more impact, but I don't really know who's still motivated by Hillary Clinton today.
I'm going to make this quick, Bill. You've been in a runoff before. It's a complete reset. Can she reset?
I don't think she can. I think she's so well defined that, you know, everybody sort of made up their minds. Let me tell you about endorsements for a second. Barack Obama endorsed Sylvester Turner the day before the election that I lost by 2,000 votes. So wow. Just keep that in mind.
All right.